You're listening to China Africa Talk.
Jambo, ni Bridget akikuletea kipindi kinachohusiana na China na Afrika.
Vous écoutez le dialogue sino-africain avec Bridget.
Everything China, everything Africa.
Olá, você está ouvindo China Africa Talk com Bridget.
سيداتي وسادتي مرحبا بكم في الحوار الصيني العربي مع بريدجيت.
It's great to be back on the program. I'm Bridget Mutambirwa, and I bring you discussions on what's happening with China and Africa from a Chinese and African perspective. The 11th Global Tourism Economy Forum was held this year in Harbin, bringing together tourism officials and industry representatives from around the world to exchange ideas on the future of the tourism economy. Zimbabwe attended the forum as guest of honor, drawing inspiration from He Longjian's approach to integrating culture and industry, experiences that resonate with Zimbabwe's own tourism strategy.
This was Zimbabwe's first time to attend. This is also what is informing us to have what we now call our heritage-based tourism.
With Zimbabwe playing a leadership role linked to the United Nations Tourism General Assembly in 2025, which ideas from the forum are most relevant for Zimbabwe, and how can Zimbabwe's unique cultural assets contribute to deeper China-Africa tourism cooperation? To discuss this, I'm now joined by Stanley Banda, Zimbabwe's tourism attaché to China and ASEAN. Mr. Banda, welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Bridget. It's always a pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
We had the Global Tourism Economy Forum 2025, which was held 15 to 17 December in Harbin. What did Zimbabwe hope to achieve by attending concretely, and what did Zimbabwe's delegation take back to Zimbabwe? I understand the Minister of Tourism was here.
Sure, thank you. Yes, we participated at the Global Tourism Economy Forum 2025, which was held in Harbin. And this was Zimbabwe's first time to attend this forum.
Okay.
What an insightful forum it was, and coming as it is at the time when our own minister is now one of the vice presidents of UN Tourism.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very much. So at least it places her at that level where she is also one of the leading voices in tourism.
Right.
Our participation at GTF 2025 was also a part to show our country, our destination, as a resilient destination.
Right.
Which wants to learn and learn from the best, for that matter. So it was an insightful visit and purposeful one that want to look at the transformation that is happening on the global tourism economy. So as a country, Zimbabwe has one of its greatest strengths in its people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also what is informing us to have what we now call our heritage-based tourism, loosely translated in our own language as Nakayedu or Ilifaletu. So this policy looks at uplifting economies and communities across the whole country, and through transformative and impactve programs that are being spearheaded by our own tourism patron, who is the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. A. Mnangagwa. And through such initiatives, which also dovetails in initiatives that are being proffered by the Global Tourism Economy Forum, we want to grow our gastronomy tourism, our women market galore, our farm to market and agri-she concept, among others. Therefore, our participation at this forum will further boost our global visibility as a destination, thereby attracting investment and boosting collaborations that will enhance our tourism.
Mr. Banda, Zimbabwe mainly targeting Chinese outbound tourists or Chinese tourism investment or policy industry partnerships by attending this forum. You also mentioned that it was Zimbabwe's first time attending this forum. What was the catch?
The catch is, like I said earlier on, we want to learn from the best.
Okay.
We also believe as a country we are a friend to all and an enemy to none.
Right.
So by attending such a forum, which was participated by over 30 countries across the world, we are learning from all these countries. We are learning from global tourism leaders who are congregating under the banner of UN tourism. So we want to learn from, if you want to call it, the Harvard of tourism.
Okay. Mr. Banda, this edition highlighted Hei Longjian's year-round all-region tourism model and industrial innovation. From Zimbabwe, which ideas are most transferable from Hei Longjian's year-round all-region tourism model?
Hei Longjian is an all-season destination,
Okay.
and this was not easy for Hei Longjian.
Okay.
Hei Longjian is such a very cold destination. At one point, it was just a one-season destination, just appealing to those ice and snow lovers.
Yes.
So it was more of a destination that would appeal to people during its winter,
Yes.
where people would want to come and enjoy winter activities. But now, Hei Longjian is an all-season destination. We are also learning that Zimbabwe, we cannot just rely on one product or one season.
Yeah.
We can't make our tourism a seasonal product. It has to be an all-year product, appealing to different market segments that can come and enjoy our tourism all year round.
Right. Is that the case in Zimbabwe, though? Is it mainly focused on one season?
Yes, I think tourism by its nature is a seasonal activity, even in countries like China.
Yeah.
It is seasonal, but you have to create other programs and products that would fill the low season gaps.
Yeah.
So this is what exactly we are also trying to do as Zimbabwe, to fill the low seasonal gaps, implementing and developing new products. That's where we come out with products like our gastronomy tourism,
Right.
promoting our communities and rural communities, so that we know that rural communities would want to get a livelihood throughout the year. So if we promote tourism in those regions, they would also benefit from tourism throughout the year. And beyond rural and gastronomy tourism, we're looking at events that attract a lot of people. Like this event that we attended, it attracted over 1,500 participants. It is in itself a tourism product. Those people would come, enjoy the activities, and that's how we are also doing it. Moving away from just promoting Victoria Falls and wildlife as our tourism in Zimbabwe.
It's currently winter here in China. If you would want to convince a Chinese tourist to visit Zimbabwe in winter, okay, here would have skiing and stuff. What would the tourist do in Zimbabwe in winter?
Funny enough, winter is peak season in Zimbabwe. Because you know what?
Yeah.
It will be summer. It will be summer in China. And summer is when people are also on holidays in China. But also the weather is pleasing, so favorable in countries like Zimbabwe. So they would also want to escape the harsh weather conditions by visiting countries like Zimbabwe. That's where they go to see our wildlife. It's a beautiful period to also do game viewing, to go and see the Victoria Falls. The weather is so wonderful. Visit the Eastern Highlands. You name it. It's so beautiful during that time. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at tourism, the broader aspect of tourism in Zimbabwe. How important is it to Zimbabwe's economy and jobs today? And what role do you see it play over perhaps the next 5 to 10 years? I was speaking with someone the other day, and when I mentioned I'm from Zimbabwe, they were like, oh, yeah, you guys do a lot of agriculture.
Yeah.
And this person is from Russia. And they're like, if I have to come to Zimbabwe, what's the tourism like? And they hadn't actually heard about the Victoria Falls.
Of course, the Victoria Falls is our number one attraction.
Yeah.
But back to your question, tourism in Zimbabwe has grown in leaps and bounds over the years.
Okay.
We are now one of the third largest sector in Zimbabwe, coming after mining. You've mentioned agriculture. We are big in agriculture.
Yes.
So we are coming after these two giant sectors in Zimbabwe. agriculture and mining. Then third is tourism.
All right.
For your own information, in 2024, we contributed about 17% to GDP. And it's so significant. We're looking at both direct and indirect employment generation and the whole tourism value chain. Something huge when we talk of tourism contribution in Zimbabwe.
What role do you see it play over the next 5 to 10 years?
Of course, over the next 5 to 10 years, this period is also an exciting period. It is coming soon after what we call our National Development Strategy, NDS1, which was from 2021 to 2025. And now going into 2026 to 2030, it will be the second phase of this National Development Strategy, which places sectors like tourism at the apex of our economy. So we are looking at further developing tourism products beyond what we're just saying, the traditional products. We have now, as a Ministry of Tourism, also expanded what are called heritage-based tourism clusters. So it is going to be more inclusive. We want to include everyone. So we are saying leaving no one behind. This is what our tourism is going to be. We're going to incorporate the youth, or going to incorporate the disadvantaged communities, the disabled, you name them. Everyone has to have a stake in tourism.
Mr. Banda, Zimbabwe is serving in a leadership role linked to the United Nations Tourism General Assembly in 2025. What practical opportunities does that create for Zimbabwe's tourism agenda?
Zimbabwe is now serving in the leadership of the UN, like I mentioned, through our minister. We are one of the vice presidents of the General Assembly for Tourism. And we will also serve in the UN Executive Council for Tourism. So this places us as one of the leading voices of tourism going forward. And through our minister, we want to look at further collaboration between member states through multi-destination travel linkages, through bilateral and multilateral tourism cooperation, joint marketing initiative. We also want to exchange the best practices so that we build our capacities through partnerships and promote sustainability of our tourism resources in all the countries that are members to the UN. This also includes preservation of our heritage and also community-based tourism, and like I said, inclusive and resilient tourism.
China has linked cultural tourism with rural revitalization and intangible cultural heritage. What lessons are most relevant for Zimbabwe, and what unique cultural assets could Zimbabwe bring into China-Africa tourism cooperation?
You know that China's practice in tourism shows us that we need to promote and love our cultural heritage.
That's right.
Because culture is the foundation for developing tourism. I love it here in China. Their Ministry of Tourism, it's not just a Ministry of Tourism. It's called Ministry of Culture and Tourism. Culture is preceding tourism to highlight how important culture is to promote tourism.
I recall last year, or I would see you with colleagues from the Embassy of Zimbabwe promoting cultural Zimbabwean dance on TV. Do you still do that? I haven't been.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We still do that. And what we have learned from China, where they are pushing culture in everything that they do, even their nationals, they love culture. If you visit any of the tourism sites here in China, they are full of their own domestic people traveling to understand their own culture. That's what we are now implementing in Zimbabwe. We are rich in culture. Look at the great Zimbabwe, a model of our civilization, rich in culture. We want to learn from all that and also avoid over commercializing such things. So
Yeah.
it be
A lot of times people get carried away with just making it something commercial and it's actually not part of the people.
absolutely, absolutely. We are definitely going to increase collaboration with our own National Arts Council back home, with the Ministry of Culture back home. And we are happy that they also have MOUs with China. So we are going to see more of cultural exchanges or people-to-people exchanges next year. Definitely, that will be a major highlight next year.
Mr. Banda, you've been in China for some time now. From what you have seen in China so far, what stands out most about how China organizes and manages culture and tourism?
What stands out is how China has been bold about its culture.
Okay.
They don't make any excuses about promoting their culture. And culture is a pride of everyone. You talk of a young boy who's into primary school or in high school or at the tertiary level, or talk of someone who is just starting work. Everyone is proud of their culture. So culture is embodied in the Chinese. Hence, it's so easy. They don't make any effort or much effort to promote their culture because it's self-promoting.
And across Africa, what do you think is still holding countries back from fully turning their tourism resources into sustainable growth?
That pains me a bit.
It also still boggles me.
Especially when you look how rich Africa is.
Yeah. Where are we going wrong?
Yes, so we are rich in our culture and heritage, but it looks like we're not fully taking advantage and tapping into that given resource.
Or maybe it's something to do with like that disconnect that we were talking about just now.
I could agree more with you on that. I think that disconnection also stems from the fact that we are not proud of who we are. I think, yes, modernity is good, advancement is good, but we should not compromise our culture in preference of modernity. I think if you look at our young people, our young population, they shy away from their culture. They think that westernizing or looking at cultures from elsewhere is much better than their own culture. So that's where the disconnection comes from. So we need to instill that love for our culture from an early age so that it becomes natural to talk about our culture in Africa.
Yeah, it's been on the talks for a long time, where since I was young, it was also that issue of, we're always told, you're the young generation, you're not interested in your culture and stuff. And would get to a point where, okay, when maybe I'm 15, I'll start understanding the culture. And then you become an adult and you have your own kids. And then there's a repeat of that same episode. It goes on and on until our kids, there's a total disconnect from that. Who should actually be the one to bring that? Is it the youth? Because when we were young, we were looking up to the older people to bring that into us.
I think you and me are the culprits, eh?
Yes.
Because we think our culture is something that is ashaming.
Yeah.
We don't want. We think that we have made it.
Yeah.
We can't be seen going back and doing those traditional and cultural things. But the starting point now to address that would be the policy shift.
Yeah.
It starts with the policy. Personally, I think the Ministry of Culture, Ministries of Education should work together so that we, even in our curricula, we implement culture. Within the curricula that our children learn in school, so that maybe not just at the early level, but throughout our education process. Yes.
On the China-Africa space, many people say tourism could become a new growth sector in China-Africa cooperation. Now, based on your observation in China, what should that cooperation focus on first? Connectivity, skills, investment, or joint marketing?
I think that's a mouthful. Looking at how China is advancing, because when we were attending the Global Tourism Economic Forum, the numbers that were being thrown about how China's tourism developing. They were amazing. Look at it being counted as being a trillion-yuan industry, and also it surpassing countries like the US, as China is going to be a leading tourism voice in the next 5 years. So these are amazing statistics. But which comes first? I personally
Maybe the skills and then joint investment.
maybe the connectivity, the joint marketing. I think this is just the chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
Which comes first?
Because if we start with joint marketing and we don't have the skills, then and then if we don't have the connectivity in place,
investment, but maybe I can say connectivity in the sense of not accessibility, but connectivity, as you mentioned earlier on, to say we are talking of our tourism as being culture based.
So
let's address connectivity between our people and our culture. Let's lessen that gap of the disconnect between our people and our culture.
Okay, so here you're also looking at it at a human level, where we're talking about connectivity at a human level, where Bridget should be connected to her culture.
I will look at it in that aspect. You can also look at it at further looking at connectivity in the actual physical
roads
connectivity
and stuff,
between
planes,
countries. Still, you are connecting. You have to connect to a destination or to a people who are already connected themselves.
Otherwise, it's just a road going nowhere to people who.
So connectivity would be actually the first focus.
And just to wind up our discussion, Mr. Banda, Zimbabwe was recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the world's best countries to visit in 2025. If you had 1 minute to speak directly to Chinese tourists, what experiences should be on their must-do list in Zimbabwe and why? I'm sure you also did a lot of this marketing when you were at the forum.
It did not come as a mean feat. I mean, to be recognized as a must-visit destination out of all these countries.
You're still digesting.
all these destinations. So I think for me, Zimbabwe is a country that will make one spoiled for choice.
Okay.
Yes, our culture is. We have been talking of that disconnection of our people and culture, but we still value our culture. We still look at our culture as one of our key tenets of our tourism. We talk of our unique flora and fauna. Wow, it's amazing. The wildlife, the nature. Wildlife is unique. I've visited.
I'm giving you 1 minute. I'm giving you 1 minute to sell your country. So I'm going to start counting now.
Without, I cannot say anything, of course, without mentioning the amazing allure of the majestic Victoria Falls. This should be on everyone's bucket list, and the recognition by Forbes did not come without considering the allure of the Victoria Falls, the unique of our wildlife, the flora and fauna, the unique of the Eastern Highlands, the unique of such destinations like Matopos, Hwange National Park, the wildlife, all that. And that is what made us stand out, without forgetting, of course, the great Zimbabwe, the symbolism of civilization that you find in Zimbabwe. And wow, the great Zimbabwe can connect Zimbabwe and China, because there are a lot of similarities between great Zimbabwe and the Great Wall of China. Starting from the trade that was there between the Chinese the early settlers of the Great Zimbabwe. So there are a lot of similarities, and there are a lot of things that Chinese can do in Zimbabwe. Not forgetting the Eastern Islands. Wow. Some people say it is, of course, the epitome of life in Zimbabwe. When you go there, you will feel that life is different. You will be relieved and you feel revitalized. So, Chinese, I'm sure they would love to come to Zimbabwe. Like you said, we are going to grow the people-to-people cultural exchanges so that our two countries get stronger and stronger as we exchange tourism between our two countries.
Okay, you've done more than a minute today, just slightly over a minute. But thank you so much again, Mr. Banda, and all the best to Zimbabwe and all the best to your endeavors in the China-Zimbabwe tourism space as well.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being on your insightful programs. Thank you.
Listeners, you can subscribe to our online newsletter on CGTN or Substack to get more insights on China-Africa relations. Just search China-Africa Talk. For now, it's goodbye. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post it on social media or leave a rating and review. Thanks again. See you next time.